All right, guys, we're back again with another Sorrow Eternal interview. Tonight, we have frontman George Charalambous of Cyprus-based Winter's Verge here to answer some questions for us. So, George, first and foremost, want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to answer our questions.
Hey guys, this is George from Winter's Verge. It's a pleasure of mine to be talking with you today.
So what first brought the five of you into metal, and what was it about power metal specifically that brought you together in Winter's Verge?
Basically, around 9 years ago, me and Steph, the keyboard guy, we met up through some other guy that wanted to make a band. I was the vocalist and guitar player, and he was the keyboard player. Well, we went into that band. We did our first practice section. That band really sucked. So basically, well, we just said, let's try and do something of our own. I had in mind different bands that were, they were like a lot of my influences. Bands like Sonata Arctica, Nightwish, Stratovarius, and basically, of course, the classics, Iron Maiden, Metallica, Megadeth, and all these bands. I wanted to make a band that would have like all these influences in them. I showed Steph a few of their songs and all that, and he wasn't really familiar with this style of music, but he really enjoyed it. And then from then on, we started looking for other band members. I remember we got Periklis Malopoulos. He was our first guitarist, but then he had to leave because he had to go to the army. So we saw Harry, the guitar player. We saw him in a gig. They were playing right before us with his band. We thought he was a really good guitar player, so we talked to him, and then the rest is history. Miguel, he was quite known in the Cyprus scene of metal because there aren't that many bass players, and he was one of the really good ones. And he enjoys this style of music as well as many other styles of music. So we talked to him about the band, and the rest is history. And then we got Chris, he was in one of the oldest bands of heavy metal in Cyprus. They were called Armageddon. He was their drummer. Before Chris, we had Andreas, where we recorded the first album with him in the same studio that we always work with, and Mr. R.D. Liabakis, our producer. After that, basically Andreas couldn't carry on with the band because of his work and all that. So we were looking for a drummer that he was experienced, and all that. So we talked to Chris, showed him our stuff. He was interested, had a few beers, and finally, basically, we all just stuck together, and I think after 8-9 years, this is the best lineup that we've ever had.
Some of the biggest metal bands in the world fall into that power metal genre. From Blind Guardian to Stratovarius, there's too many to name. Who are some of your biggest influences, both in the metal genre and outside of it?
I started out with Iron Maiden. They were like my favorite band. I consider Bruce Dickinson, he's an amazing vocalist. I think he's the best ever. My influences are judged mainly on the vocalists. Vocalists I like Bruce Dickinson. I like Eric Adams. I like Dio. And then I like more melodic bands when it comes to bands like Sonata Arctica, Nightwish, Rage. They got really nice riffs and really catchy choruses and all that. I like Stratovarius, Blind Guardian, Rhapsody of Fire. That I just like the melody more. Harry, the guitar player, he's into more riff-based style of music. His favorite band is Metallica, but then I mean he loves like Pantera and Symphony X and Rage and all this style of metal. That's his thing. Steph, when I met him, he wasn't really that into metal. Then, you know, after I showed him what style of music we wanted to play, he started listening to more symphonic bands, which have more keyboards in them, like Sonata Arctica and Nightwish and Within Temptation. He likes Epica. He likes the bands that have a symphonic feel to it. But he also likes classical music, and I don't know. He listens to basically everything. I don't think I can just pin him down into just a metal person, because he's not. Chris is a more of a rock kind of person. He likes the older stuff as well as a few. He likes the newer style with you know, really groovy stuff and I don't know, riffy stuff, but not crazy riffs. He's not really that hardcore style or a melodic style of person. He just likes the groove. And then Miguel is the most versatile of all. He listens to practically everything. He loves power metal, classic metal. He loves death metal, black metal. He's just you know, he listens to absolutely everything as well as classical music. So basically, if you just add that all up, then you get what we have. I mean, in our music, we have a few growls in there. We have a lot of symphonic elements. We have a lot of melody, especially in the new album. We have a lot of riffs from Harry. You know, and Chris's drumming. I mean, if you just if you don't really look at the actual power metal songs, like in our new album Paper is Blank, and you look at, I don't know, Not Without a Fight or something, you'll see that, you know, his drumming is more of a groove style. That's his cup of tea.
Moving into the new album, what inspired you to choose the name Beyond Vengeance as the title to your third effort? What does that name mean to you personally?
We gave the album the name after a concept that we've thought of that is a continuing saga with every album. On the first album, it was a song, Eternal Damnation, that started the whole story. Then it carries on with I Swear Revenge, and now Unto the Darkness. It's about a vampire who falls in love with a woman and turns her into a vampire. Then the people of town find out, they burn her alive, and now he seeks his vengeance. We really take care of this story that we created and decided to name the whole album after the concept.
The symphonic elements have grown throughout your careers and are a major strong point on the new album. How would you say you've changed, both as people and a band, that has allowed your music to grow in such a way?
Concerning the symphonic elements of the album, I think we can safely say that we can just blame the keyboardist. Okay, the truth is that we all like the symphonic element, and even in the future maybe we can actually use a real symphony, but we don't really like writing something just very simple. You know, we've grown as people and as musicians, and we seek something more, not just you know, something simple. You know, in the end, it has to make us happy as well, and so we're adding different things as we grow to make our music, in our opinion, better.
Even the artwork has evolved over the course of the 3 albums. What is the deeper meaning behind your album art, and in particular, the latest piece?
We feel that the artwork is a very important part of an album. I mean, it's a reason for somebody to check you out, even if they've never heard you before. Okay, concerning this picture, this theme, we didn't really have anything special in mind, other than the fact that we wanted to use the sea for 2 reasons. One, that we're from Cyprus and we're surrounded by water, so it's part of our nature and our culture. and two, because we've also used it in the second album. So it's like, in a way, we're saying, this album is what you've heard with new elements, and we've evolved into something different. The designer for the album was Mr. Jonas Kowalik. The guy is just insane. Hats off to him. I mean, we spoke on the phone. I explained what we would like to have in the album, and then I received an email with this jaw-dropping picture. The angels in the cover, we just like the whole idea with the good against evil and the destruction that it holds, on mankind and all that. But there's no real concept. Maybe you can pin it down with the song Angels of Babylon, but it really has nothing to do with the whole story.
One of the tracks that stands out from the rest of the album is Unto the Darkness, a song that has a very classic metal feel. In writing, was the classic style intentional, or is that just the way the track shaped up?
Unto the Darkness is part of the ongoing saga that I mentioned before that's on each of our albums. When I wrote this song, it wasn't really my intention for it to have a classic heavy metal feel to it. My intentions were to make it an angry song because of the story. The vampire is supposed to go into town and destroy everything. In the end, it did turn out to have a classic heavy metal feel to it. That's awesome, and it's one of my favorite songs on the album.
In that same vein, how does the writing process typically work for Winter's Verge? Where does the process begin, and how do the different layers come into play?
The writing process for us is kind of weird because two of our members are living in England. Harry and Miguel are studying there. So basically the whole album was written over the internet. This method has actually worked for Tales of Tragedy and Beyond Vengeance. I might have an idea and then I'll send it to Harry. Harry will add something, send it back to me, then we'll send it to the keyboard player, and then it's just back and forth until we come up with a final product. But then when we go to the studio, because that's the only place that we'll ever play all the songs all together, we'll always change something there. But the whole basic idea is actually written over the internet.
We have discussed at length how things work in the international metal scene. For you, coming from Cyprus, what does the metal scene really look like? How popular is metal as a musical genre, and what other bands are helping you to carry the flag of your home country?
Cyprus is a very small country by itself. There are only around 750,000 people living here. The metal scene is small, but there are quite a few bands with different styles of heavy metal. It's difficult for a band to actually get out of Cyprus because you can't just go and rent a van and go on tour. It's an island, and it's really expensive just to get out and start from somewhere. As for the flag, I think there are only around 3 bands that have actually made it out of Cyprus. It's Aryan Path, Blind, and Winter's Verge.
What are your touring plans for the upcoming year in support of the new album? How far and wide are you expecting to travel to spread your music this time around?
We will go on tour during September or October. I mean, how far and how wide always depends on the economic factor. It's not as if we can just get up and go now. I wish we could. I'm sure every band that is starting wishes they could. But, we have to be realistic. We will go as far and wide as we can.
Now here's a question. If touring wasn't reliant on money or travel support, where would you like to play shows, and who would be your ideal tour lineup?
If touring didn't rely on money, I'm sure we'd love to play in places like Japan, Brazil, USA, Canada. I mean, that would just be awesome for us. The band we'd love to go with would definitely have to be from our genre. I don't know, it would be a dream come true if we went on tour with Blind Guardian or Sonata Arctica.
With the new album out now through Massacre Records, what can we expect from the coming months and on into the future of Winter's Verge?
The future, at least the near future, it holds a tour for us, some more promotion for the band, and then we'll start working for our 4th album.
once again, we want to thank you for granting us this opportunity, and we really look forward to what comes next.
Thank you guys for the interview. You gave us a great review. Thank you so much for that. We hope to see you down the road. Cheers, and keep rocking, guys.